right, guys. Thank you. Oh, I gave him that. Give us that movement. First part of November. Friday. Good for you guys. Number 10. Very good. State 10.
Case-breaking developments are happening in the YNW Melly case. Things are looking very good, as Melly even said in court that he's coming home soon. As this all started this week, when YNW Melly's mother, Jamie King, filed paperwork against the lead detective in Melly's trial named Mark Moretti. Mark went after YNW Melly's mother in a very serious way, where it reads, "We received a complaint by an attorney representing Jamie King. King is the mother of Jamel Demons, the given name of YNW Melly. YNW Melly's lawyers filed a motion in his case seeking Brady material against the detective. Brady material refers to information that could be used to question the integrity of law enforcement officers who testify in criminal cases." As it also continues reading, details about the encounter between Melly's mother and Moretti were not available Thursday with one exception. While the incident took place on October 12th, 2022, the complaint was not filed until this month, as allegedly YNW Melly's mother was called in for an interrogation. Mark Moretti wanted Melly's mother's cell phone for evidence that could be used against Melly. However, she was not giving it up while arriving to the police station. This caused Moretti to get quite angry, where he then tried grabbing it from out of her hands, and this caused her to have a hand injury. As let me take you back 7 months ago. January 2nd, Jamie King and YNW B-Slime were on a No Jumper podcast, as Jamie King could be seen with a cast around her hand, mentioning a police officer was responsible for doing it. She didn't want to get into full detail as it could have messed up Melly's case. However, she hinted it was a Broward sheriff's officer and a high-ranking one. There's a high likely chance this now delays Melly's upcoming retrial in October, as this now gives him an advantage in the courtroom to be released on bond. Mark Moretti's police work now needs to be investigated after Jamie King's paperwork, as Mark Moretti is responsible for all of the evidence that was found on YNW Melly's cell phone. However, how he got this cell phone evidence was quite disturbing. To obtain Melly's cell phone, he went to 100K Track, aka Melly's manager, telling Track to hand over Melly's cell phone within 48 hours, or else he would be kicked out of the United States and arrested.
Did you, as a trained investigator, Jameson Francois to be deported to Haiti, even though he's been in this country since 5 years?
Yes, sir.
Did you, in fact, that he would not get fed and get any medicine in the jails?
I don't know about that in the conversations.
When you questioned Jameson Francois, were you alone, or did you bring immigration officers with you?
We were at the Chrome Detention Center, so of course the immigration officer had to be there.
As that was YNW Melly's lawyer yelling at Mark Moretti for the questionable police work that I mentioned earlier, as he tried doing a very similar police tactic to YNW Melly's mother. However, Jamie King was able to leave the police station without handing over a phone. Sadly, 100K Track did give up Melly's cell phone, and this is now why the prosecutors have 90% of their evidence against Melly. He had no choice, or else he would have been kicked out of the United States. On that cell phone, it contained many incriminating text messages from YNW Melly, with the first one being a literal confession to doing the crime.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHHHH.
And could you please stand and point on the right side of the screen exactly which part you're saying where the YNW Melly account says, "I did that"?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author. And this is the recipient. Then you come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuing message.
To even text messages that YNW Melly had with his ex-girlfriend, where his ex-girlfriend could be seen telling Melly if he doesn't stop being friends with YNW Bortlen, she's gonna break up with him.
Moving on to Friday, November 9th, 2029, 20 UTC, 2018. Message from Melly Montana to, again, that baby. What does that one say?
You don't with me anyways. I peeped it. You can slide, but God knows I wasn't in her and real breaking. You spoiled everything was given to you. You act like a some slide. I keep Bortlen with cuz at the
As Mark Moretti went through all of YNW Melly's personal photo albums, video albums, text messages, and even Snapchats. However, he would also find a saved Facebook Live video link on his notepad, as this Facebook Live would reveal YNW Melly and Bortlen's reactions 8 hours after the crime was done in 2018.
You see him? Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! The dog still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
As with the case-breaking evidence being revealed what happened to YNW Melly's mother, rap OG Boosie would even go on and share this.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
As it seems, Jamie King now has a huge involvement in the YNW Melly case in general, and she might be a big reason as to why YNW Melly will be released on bond soon. As Mark Moretti and the families of Sack Chaser and Juvie know, if you want to get the worst out of Melly, then go after his mother, which is exactly what they've been doing for the last few years. However, more recently, YNW Juvie's sister reached out to Melly's mother, Jamie King, on social media.
What's been going on in the courtroom?
Well, Anjanette, it's been a very interesting morning. It did start off earlier with the defense bringing up an issue. Apparently, Juvie's sister posted on, I guess, one of the social media outlets, and she said that she was going to Jamie King, and so that caused a big, issue in the courtroom. It wasn't anything that we got on tape, but it did happen this morning. It was on the record, and she has a bodyguard now. So that was one of the first issues that the court dealt with this morning, and it was interesting because the judge did basically say, if you needed more security, I can get it for you. Ultimately, it was determined that the security she had, the bodyguard, was going to be enough. So
Now, shout out to Reddit, because we had to do some digging to find the sister. Now, this is the sister, Ashley Monique. And let me show you the post that she had posted on Facebook, because, honey, it was quite the stir. So she posted this screenshot from Jamie King, YNW Melly's mother, and she said, "Pest control, who called about?" Now, that was in regards to a post made by Trayvon Glass on his Instagram page, where he basically said that he's not worried about anything, and if he's come him. So in a nutshell, Melly's mom is calling Trayvon Glass a, and Monique replied back and says, "A is when you do something wrong and not take responsibility and then go and set somebody up because you're scared to lay down." She goes on to say, "That's not the case here. Fetty was Juvie's friend, not Melly. He was only around because Juvie brought him." Now in the comments, somebody says she better find something safe to do. Another person replied back and says, "Very well said." Another person tagged Jamie, and somebody else said, "Come get." Now, Ashley was in the comments and says she even has a bodyguard child. Another person replied and says, yeah, she need one because she's talking like she's 200 pounds and she ain't even pushing 100. Now, somebody else posted this and says she's going to need them because she's in the wrong city talking. Now, I think that when Melly's defense attorneys found this, they submitted it over to the judge and basically was like, Juvie's sister's out here Melly's mom. Now, the judge did state that if Melly's mom needed security, he would issue her security, and then he found out that she had a bodyguard, and that would be sufficient enough.
That social media interaction caused Melly's mother to now have 24/7 security with her anytime she's near a courthouse, or any single time that she has to go to the police station for questioning about Melly. Everything has made YNW Melly very concerned for his mother, as this is why Melly was even caught trying to comfort his mother during his own trial.
Sorry.
We'll just. Don't do it.
With YNW Melly so nervous throughout his trial, his lawyers would tell the judge that something needs to be done, as Melly can't even focus on what is going on. This is why the judge then granted the free security for Melly's mother, as after it was announced, Melly would look very happy as well as relieved.
Jury entry?
All of this aside, Melly's chances at being released on bond is quite high. This is due to how the mistrial was granted, as the first reason it was because of YNW Melly's angry lawyer. On the closing day of trial before deliberations for the jury, Melly's lawyer was screaming over the fact that the jury had to make a decision on YNW Melly's life with such little evidence.
And tell him that he's going to live life in the state penitentiary without parole or being on parole. This is the investigation they want you to rely upon and say it's proof beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt? I guess so, according to them.
As Melly's lawyer would continue on yelling inside of the courtroom, as his next argument was the original crime was a quote drive-by according to police documents. However, the police never even looked at the surrounding stores and banks that had surveillance cameras on the outside, right beside where the quote drive-by happened at. As if they even looked at the surveillance, they could have looked at all of the vehicles that were driving down that street and investigated the license plates to see who could have done this crime.
That he doesn't go to the on Miramar Parkway to check their surveillance tape. He doesn't go to Applebee's to check their surveillance tape. He doesn't go to Polo Tropical or the gas station or the bank on Miramar Parkway to check their surveillance tapes. When the car's on 184th Avenue, he doesn't go to the fire station to check their tapes, surveillance tapes. Doesn't go back to the Sunset Lakes and West Broward to check their surveillance tape because he knows it all. He knows it. How do you know it if you don't check?
As this is what's likely led to the mistrial, as this proves very sloppy police work by the detectives. However, it was also because of Melly's 6th grade best friend, Adrian Davis, as Davis would reveal that YNW Melly was never even at the crime scene when the crime occurred.
Are you 100% sure that Melly got into the red Mitsubishi to go home?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure that this young man learned of his friends at the exact same time you learned of it?
Yes.
And that was at the house?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure that when people were getting on the phone that this young man was looking for his phone to call people?
Yes.
Davis would then even double down his claims of Melly not being there, sharing that Melly was picked up by the YNW members that were driving in the red vehicle that were leaving the recording studio with Melly's Jeep. The members in the red vehicle needed somebody with house keys to allow them into the YNW crib, as only Melly and Bortlen had a set of house keys. However, this also reveals that YNW Bortlen was never even planning on going home this night.
Okay, so the only two people you know who had a key to the house was this young man
Yes.
and Cortland Henry.
Yes.
Did you see this young man unlock the door of the house?
Yes.
Who was the last person to get out of the red Mitsubishi to go inside the house?
Trayvon, he was in the cot still asleep.
Did you see where Melly went?
To his room.
And where was his bedroom?
When you first walked in the house, it can't miss it, it's right down the left.
Okay. This is a 1 or 2 story house?
2.
As Anthony Davis claims that he watched YNW Melly walk to the front door, open the door, and then walk straight to his bedroom to go to sleep. Then while sleeping for roughly an hour or two, members in the YNW crib would begin screaming, yelling for everyone to wake up as they just learned what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie.
Did there come a time in the early morning hours that you were woken up and heard some distressing news?
Yes.
What did you hear?
That second Juvie was.
When you heard that, did you see Melly in the house?
Yes.
Did you see Melly how he was dressed in the house?
Yes.
What was he wearing?
Shorts and a t-shirt, I think.
As Adrian Davis states that he saw YNW Melly inside of the YNW house, waking up out of bed in a t-shirt and shorts, and learning about the drive-by as a group. Now this all gives YNW Melly an alibi in this case. However, the more important part is that lawyers are now putting together the important parts of YNW Bortlen's 2018 interrogation, as YNW Bortlen would share details of what occurred after they left the recording studio step by step.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car.
Hey, well, actually,
and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south?
It's very clear to the officers that YNW Bortlen's story is not adding up to anything. Bortlen is trying to stay as confident about his story as he can, trying to make it seem realistic. However, he would just then get caught up in his lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your two, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
As YNW Bortlen is not budging from his original story, sticking to the script that it is always about the streets and you never snitch or work with the feds. So the officers would now just get annoyed. This is then when the officer would ask this.
Let's talk about why. Are you having issues with anyone?
I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff, so people like, you know, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you had some jealousy issues.
Yeah, it's like jealousy issues. But I haven't really been on there. But like he like my friend that's way now, God bless. he was telling me like, right, he always was telling me about how people, just like today, he was telling me some folks from up our way.
What's up your way?
Like Vero
Vero
Beach.
Beach?
Like that's where I used to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up there. So that's our hometown. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what did your friend say about from Vero Beach? What was he saying to you?
He was saying basically just like they were on like Instagram, Facebook likes.
As the officers now understand, YNW is a group full of rappers that are in the local area of them, and they're also starting to get a buzz online. However, it didn't matter much, as the interrogation would just go south. In the flip of a switch, YNW Bortlen would begin getting angry, as he could tell the officers are not fully believing his story about the crime.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it no more. Like, cause I told y'all what. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.